evening. Welcome back to my Astro Imaging Journey channel. Today is going to be the first attempt at using the Moonlite CHL motorized focuser. This unit right here. Previously we had installed it. I've got it roughly set to mid-range, but I'll go through and get that thing connected up. I'll go through that in SGP, getting the settings. In other videos I've seen, it should display a value of what the minimum and maximum steps are. So, from 0 to let's say 10,000. So once I get it into SGP and connect it up, then I'll be able to see what that max value is, hopefully. And if so, then I can tell it to go to the true midpoint. Again, if it's 10,000, then we'll go to 5,000. And then I will use the batten-off mask and get a rough focus on the dish. And then we'll see how this thing performs once we get back inside. So that's the goal for tonight, and we'll go through that. I've got a sequence loaded up, 3 targets tonight, an owl cluster, and a couple galaxies. So hopefully we will get that rocking and rolling, and I'll record the entire session throughout the night so that I can cut through and we can see how the focus did through the night. And I'll explain a couple of the settings I have later on once I get SGP loaded up. So with that, I'm going to wait for the sky to darken, and hopefully here in about 2 hours we'll be back at it. Thank you. Alright, so before we get too far deep into the woods here, I'm going to look at my focus settings here in a second. I'm just going through my other settings. So focus step size, those are more for your manual setup. So when I'm going through there, autofocus every 1 degree change, my exposure time is 6 seconds. I'm going to go through all this a little bit later. But I'm just going through some real quick tests, settings. And we're going to do a quick test, hopefully. And yep, we're going to connect to everything. And if you look there, my max value is 4,000. Now it did come up with 10,000 as the default setting. That was not correct. So what I had to do is, on the left hand side you see the focus control. There's a 0 button. So what I did there was just hit the 0 button, let it draw itself all the way in, and it does have a little slip clutch on it. So once it hits its stop, the motor will still turn, but obviously it's not going to move. And then I said go to, and I went to 5,000 steps and watched it. And when I saw it stop, I looked, and it was right around 4,000. So I know my maximum is 4,000, and I can put that into the configuration. Then I had to figure out what my step size was.
what we did there was, once I knew what my range was, so in my case 0 to 4,000, I then used the go to button again and go to 2,000, the midpoint. Then use the Batnoff mask and the OTA's focusing to go and get a rough focus. Once we have that, then we do the fine and coarse adjustments, go out 100, then 200, then 300, until roughly your star rating, full width, half max, or half flux radius, is at about 2 to 3 times what it was. Now that is dependent on your telescope setup. If you're using a refractor, that's entirely plausible. In my particular case, I couldn't get much above 2, and it was way out of focus. So once we find the point where we're out of focus and we've gone a little bit beyond that, then we take the number of step sizes, subtract 1, and then divide that into 2 times that number we had from before. So if we moved out 200 steps and we have a value of 9 for the iterations, then it's 200 times 2, which is 400, divided by 9 minus 1, so that would be 8. 400 divided by 8 is 50, I believe. So our step size would be 50, and that's what we configure in SGP under the Focuser settings. So we get to that point, and as you can see on the screen now, this is what the result is. When it does come time to autofocus, it's going to step out 7 steps, or excuse me, 4 steps. Yeah, 4 steps. And since I have it configured for 45, in my particular case, it's going to go out 180. And then it's going to step in 45 notches for another 8 iterations. And at each point, it's going to take an image, calculate the half flux radius, and once it knows what the minimum is, it will look at that V and figure what its setting should be and move to that point. And we'll see here in a minute or two what type of an image we can get with that thing working. So as you can see right here, I have it highlighted, that step size, and that's what that value I was talking about that we calculate. Now, here I was doing some testing and wanted to go 20 on the step size, but I ended up going to 15 on the number of steps, and that didn't work out very well. But as you can see here on that image, stars are nice and pinpoint. Yep, I like that. Alright, so now I'm going to focus in a little bit, because if you look here, the temperature is 5 degrees Celsius. The last focus temp was 6 degrees Celsius. And in the configuration, I've got it set to autofocus after 1 hour or 1 degree of temperature change. Now, I was thinking that was every hour it would, and if the temperature happened to change by 1 degree, it would do it as well. What appears to be happening is once it focuses, both of those values reset, and then the counters start over, which I kind of like. Do I need the time? Probably not. But you never know. Mirror could slip, anything could happen. So I'm going to leave it 1 hour and 1 degree. Clearly the temperature does affect this, so the 1 degree is going to be crucial, and the 1 hour is just for my own peace of mind. So here we are stepping through. We're looking for a nice V curve. This is looking more like a bell curve, but it's still a curve. You'll still be able to figure out where the low point should be and autofocus accordingly. So in this particular case, we're getting a low value around a 5 point something, 5.1, 5.2. So let's zoom in here and let's see what it comes up with. So I'm guessing 2025, or excuse me, 2023. So somewhere around 2025. And it says 2023, 5.46. So that's the value it's going with. That works for me. Let's get through one more. So let me pause, and when the next one comes around, I'll let you know. Okay, well, we're an hour later. Temperature's changed half a degree, but we are 1 hour later. So let's make sure the 1 hour timer is working. Let's let this frame download, and then we'll see. It should go into an autofocus, which it does. So we have the temperature changing by 1 degree, worked previously, and now the 1 hour is working. So let's see what we get. Okay, it's got more of a sideways L pattern than a V this time, but we're still around 2027. Yeah, so we're still pretty close to where we were before. It still should work. If you notice, the step size had changed to 20. I did that to do some testing. I think I need to go back to 45, but we should be good. And with that, I think this is going to be it for tonight's video. This focuser's working. I'm happy with it. So I'm going to do another video going through the settings more in depth and do a review as well. So let me get to those. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this. Like it if you did. Subscribe if you like what I'm doing. Ring that bell if you want to get notified when I post something new. And hope you have a good rest of your day. Goodbye and clear skies. Thank you so much.